Hi everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Persona 4 Golden. And then we're on to part number 33 now. And the last part was, I'll be honest, ever so slightly dull, to be honest. Because it was all pretty much all social link stuff and all that kind of thing. Today we're going to have a bit more variety in the part because we are going to do some more social links, as you can see now, because Yukiko wants to see us. So we've got some so we've got that stuff to do, but we're also going to be doing some side quest stuff, and also the story is we're going to have a bit of story progression this time round. So yeah, this part should be a bit more varied. Last time was a bit too social link heavy, but it's the problem with doing these types of games. It's the problem with doing Persona in particular, because you know there's large sections where you can only do social link stuff because there's nothing else going on and there's nothing else to do. I could have done side quest stuff, but oh god, the side quests are a pain in the ass. So anyway, we're now here with Yukiko, and we're going to be finishing off Yukiko's social link now, and she's made food, and it's delicious. Yay! Character progression. She can cook now. Oh no, never mind. He was done. Half of it was done by. Well, she made a half decent meal. In that she made half of it, and the chef made half of it. But whatever, dude. That's all right. That's fine. Yeah, pretty much here she's it's her the end of her social link is pretty much the realization. She still wants to continue to she wants to continue to learn to be completely self-sufficient and to like rely on herself a little bit more, and to basically, because she was talking right at the beginning of her social link arc, she was talking about taking job licenses and learning to do other things and that kind of thing. It's pretty much with her now. She's pretty much, even though she doesn't want to leave, she wants to stay with the Amagi Inn, and she wants to kind of take it on and stay in Iba. She still wants to kind of learn all that stuff and, you know, progress as a person, I guess, and all that kind of thing. You know, be more self-sufficient and that kind of thing, as well as while still continuing to stay at the Amagi Inn and do all that kind of stuff. It's a pretty good message, I guess, to kind of make the best of yourself and that kind of thing. Anyway, what happened there, which I didn't talk about, was that Yukiko's, once you've leveled up to full level, the character's persona, if they have one, which if they're social links they will, most part, but if they have a persona, that persona will change into a more powerful form, and that's the Yukiko social link maxed out. Another social link maxed out. Nicely done. Thou art I, and I am thou. Thou hast established a genuine bond. These genuine bonds shall be your eyes to see the truth. We bestow upon you the ability to create a skathatch, the ultimate form of the priestess arcana. So yeah, part of the reason why you would want to max out all the social links in a single playthrough is that so you can get the ultimate persona for yourself. Because you need to do all... Hang on. So we learned Evade Ice, which is a pretty useful move. It raises the evasion rate to ice-based attacks, so I think it's up to 50%, so it's pretty useful. And get rid of fire resistance. It doesn't... I've never used it that much.
I've never known any boys who I could call close friends.
So,
Very happy.
what was I talking about? Oh yeah,
Shall we?
so Yukiko's persona is now leveled up. It's now changed form to to a more powerful version. And there is, if you do one more optional kind of talk with her, what will happen then is that her persona will change again to its ultimate form, and also learn the most powerful attack that she can learn. But we'll talk about that when we get to it, which I don't know exactly when that will be, because it's been a while since I recorded it. But, yeah. So we're back at home, and Naoto is on the television. I guess that Naoto is going to talk about the, case, and talk about how they caught the culprit of these murders. Yeah, she did, Naoto. So yeah, this is this is Naoto kind of showing a bit too much integrity, in that Naoto thinks that there are problems with the case. There are problems with the theory that Mitsuo is the murderer of everybody. And the police are basically saying, yes, this is our man, we've caught him, he's the one who murdered all these people. But Naoto is going kind of against that, because that is what he honestly believes. It's also what Dojima has kind of alluded to over the last, I guess, few parts, is that he doesn't think that this case is 100% solved yet. And so this is Naoto going against what the police are, what the line that the police are driving at is. Police are saying that this is completely 100% done, and Naoto is kind of like, there are things which I'm not sure about. So he's kind of being a bit, what's the word? Going against the word of the authority of the police. So we'll see what happens with Naoto in a little bit.
I'm kind of surprised, though. I didn't think he was the type to go after the spotlight like that.
That is true. Naoto doesn't seem the type. He seems very shy most of the time. So why would he go out onto the spotlight like that? Well, let's see what happens.
Discuss? Dude, we'll be late if we talk too long.
So Naoto's not in uniform. He's not going to school. Bad boy.
What is it?
So he wants to indulge a theory. He's had as a theory.
All of them were kidnapped before they were murdered.
So what's Naoto's theory? Well, Naoto's theory is that everybody who's been kidnapped has been on television within a few days of them being kidnapped. And there's also that nothing really links the victims themselves, other than the fact I like that, I plead fifth. Which is, I believe, that's an American term. I don't understand it. Whatever. I guess the Fifth Amendment is, you know, the right not to have to answer questions. I don't know. Anyway, so his theory is that basically that there is no, there's nothing intrinsically linking all the victims, except for the fact that they appeared on TV a few days before they actually went missing, and that is pretty much it. That they just had some minor local media attention, which is a pretty solid theory if you look at all of it. You know, there's nothing intrinsically linking kind of all the victims. Like, there's no one linking. I'm going back here. I'm trying to remember the names. Mayumi Yamano was the first victim. The second victim was Saki. Third, Yukiko. Fourth was Ganji. And fifth was Rise. All five of those victims, you know, there's nothing intrinsically kind of linking all of them together. There's no common thread,
Mr. Muraoka's murder.
except for the fact that they appeared on TV a few days before they got kidnapped. Another thing which seems to be a strange thing is that there are 3 people who have died. I missed Mr. Muraoka, but whatever. 3 people who died, Mayumi Yamano, Saki Konishi, and Mr. Muraoka. I don't think they ever say his first name. So they're the 3 who have died. The first 2 had no marks, and they weren't able to link any
What do you mean?
evidence back to a singular person. Whereas in the third case, with Mr. Muraoka, they were able to quite easily link it to Mitsuo, which again is just something... it's something which is a bit more... What's the word I'm looking for here? It's something which is a bit more... I can't think of the fucking word. It's a bit more,
I see.
it just doesn't fit with the other 2 victims, is what I'm saying. Anyway, what happened with Naoto there is that basically he doesn't see this as a game either. He wants to, and he's going to do something, which he doesn't say what he's going to do, but he says that he's going to do something about his theory, and he's going to put his theory to the test. So, we'll see what happens with Naoto later. So, we're now doing Yumi's social link. We're back with Yumi's social link. Not one of my favourites, I have to be honest. But, what basically has happened here is that she didn't turn up to class again. Didn't turn up to drama practice again, so we've gone to see what she's doing. And she's continued to have problems with her... biological dad, I guess, as well as her mum. Basically, the fact that he's dying and... Yeah, I mean, it's a really odd... Because here's the thing, of all the social links which I have done in my 3 playthroughs, this one is by far the most down to earth, and it's also by far the most, well, I shouldn't say most down to earth, it's by far the darkest by a country fucking mile. It's the darkest by a mile, dude, and I don't really understand. I don't understand why they put something like this in, which is considerably darker than every other social link in the whole game. And yeah, it's kind of a little crisis that she's having of she hates the fact that her dad left.
Welcome back.
But at the same time, yeah, she's pissed off that her dad left, obviously, and hates him for that, but at the same time, he's on his deathbed, and there's maybe a duty to go to see him before he passes, and maybe to try and forgive him, and it's what pressure from her mother as well to kind of, that's what her mother wants her to do. But anyway, we're now moving on to we've got the Midnight Channel for the first time in a long time, and that silhouette looked eerily like a certain someone, a certain boy detective. So yeah, something's appeared, which means that someone is going to get taken and put into the TV. So we've got to pretty much try and work out who it is. It looked like Naoto. When it came out, no, he's dead.
Why would he show up on TV? Now that you mention it,
So yeah, it looks like it's Naoto who's gone into the who's appeared on the Midnight Channel. So what are we going to do about that? So yeah, we're going to meet up with Yosuke and the others tomorrow to discuss our options and see what we can do about it. And see if we can find, see if we can see Naoto tomorrow. That sounded really bad. See if we can find Naoto tomorrow. So we'll see what happens.
So, about the Midnight Channel last night. I wonder who that was.
I talked to Teddy and he says no one's entered the other side.
Yeah, so this is a...
Yeah.
So we're just basically talking about it. And that was a Risei bringing up the point that the killer has been captured, right? Doesn't seem very convinced at this point. Yosuke didn't seem very convinced there.
Naoto said didn't make any sense either, so there's no use getting all worked up about it.
And Kanji being surprisingly
Naoto-kun.
No, well, how do I put it?
yeah, it's Kanji been surprisingly kind of
What Naoto said?
on the
So
money.
you're still hung up on all that stuff.
I ain't
Sorry
hung
about
up
that.
on it.
It's okay, we all understand. Just don't go
Oh,
overboard, man.
Yosuke, stop teasing him for God's sake.
I said that's not it. I got stuff to do. I'm out of here.
See you around, Kanji. Try not to piss him off too much, Yosuke.
You
He'll
know he doesn't think it's funny.
hammer you into the ground like a tent peg.
Something happened between Kanji and Naoto-kun?
Well, we're not going to say anything about that. Let's be kind of quiet about that, eh?
Everyone is in high spirits for some reason, and they all talk about other people, but never themselves.
Yeah, so what am I talking about? Yukiko is making a little bit of a
That's all.
observation
That's how society
how much happier people are.
People get excited fast.
Yeah, Chie makes a good point, which is pretty much just that
There's no
the
underlying
killer's been put behind bars, or
I don't know.
supposedly,
It still seems
and
a little
everyone's just happy that there are no more murderers, no more murders, no more kidnappings. So it's, yeah,
Oh.
she's, they make a good point.
Huh.
It's gonna rain again tonight.
We should check the midnight.
So yeah, we've now got to check the Midnight Channel for a second night just to see, to try and make sure that see if it was just a mistake from last night. So here we go. Let's go. We're going to check the Midnight Channel again. So let's see if it's still doing the same thing. If it's still saying the same, making the same. What am I talking about? I don't know. I'm an idiot. See if it's still the same thing, whether it's the same silhouette, whether it's improved, and shit. And it's really extremely clear image, and oh look, it's Naoto. By the way, I do really like the there is one little detail which I've kind of noticed later on, is the fact that the lab coat that Naoto's wearing here, the sleeves are slightly too long, so the hands are kind of buried. And I think there is kind of, what's the word? It's symbolic, I guess, of his it's whatever. It's symbolic of Naoto's kind of feelings about how why he's in the midnight, you know, everything that's here. And also the fact that he's talking about surgery and change is also very symbolic, and it's also, it will be explained fully at the end of the dungeon. But yes, and this is a rarity. Kanji's actually calling us because he's kind of, and Kanji is surprisingly upset about this. You know, that he has to try and he's very flustered, and he really wants to save Naoto. So so yeah, he's not happy about Naoto, and so yeah, it's the same gig, same deal. We have to go wait till tomorrow, and we're gonna have to talk to the rest of the gang to see what we do next, see what happens.
night on TV, that was Naoto-kun for sure.
Oh, you think so? It certainly looked like Naoto.
Really in there?
I do smell someone.
And Teddy's pretty much confirming that
Just like before. Nothing's changed.
he has
Like,
he does sense that someone is in there. And I do like this little bit of
of course. That's why Naoto-kun appeared on the news
hang
so
on.
suddenly.
Sorry. I do like how it's kind of realistic that Naoto,
He also
the
believed that the people
Yosuke
who
and
appeared on TV first,
Yukiko would be
remember?
kind, especially Yosuke.
You're saying
His
he's
kind,
using
it's
himself
kind of
as
makes
bait?
sense that he is
Conclusion he did. People who become famous through
very
TV
kind of upset and despondent by the fact that they thought they'd solved the case, they thought it was done,
That's crazy. He could be killed.
and what's, and now it's
This is not a game for me
kept going
either.
again. It's
All my
continued
fault.
on, it's not stopped. And Rise's feeling sorry for herself because of what she said to Naoto. And they pretty much just realised the fact that
Instead, he left us clues
Naoto's plan all along was basically to go onto TV, say some things, and try and draw out the serial killer, just to see if they can stop him from killing any more people. He's sort of proving his point that if it really was Mitsuo, then him going on TV wouldn't mean anything, and he would just and he wouldn't get kidnapped, basically. So the fact that he has done, he's basically proving his point,
the only one Mitsuo killed?
and proving that,
Signs of King Moron being
it's
thrown
not
into
all
TV.
over, and that
The killer
there
didn't
is
change his methods for killing.
something further
Just seemed that way.
behind all
It was done
this
by someone
crap.
else.
And it's all about,
That's the real killer? But
yeah, it was just him kind of
he was the one
using himself as bait to kind of prove that
someone else's crime. Isn't that weird?
this is what happened, that that the killer's still out there. It's kind of trying to prove a point. Sorry. Anyway,
To hell with
and
behind bars.
what they were basically mentioning there very quickly was the fact that
We gotta
why were Mitsuo kind of and Kanji. I like the fact that Kanji is really passionate about trying to save Naoto and trying to make sure that nothing happens. But going back to Mitsuo, he's the basic point that they were making, that Risa, God damn Tom, that Chie was making there was basically the fact that why would Mitsuo take the blame for all this shit? Why would he say I did do it even though he didn't?
I can't tell where.
It does. I will say this, from the little that we know about him, Mitsuo as a character, it does make a lot of sense that he would take responsibility and blame for it. It does make a lot of sense that he's kind of obsessed. He just wants to be kind of a psychological need to be liked, I guess, and to have fame and to be famous for something. And I think that that's pretty much what happened there, was that he wants to be, he thinks that he's some invisible shadow, and it kind of comes across in his the shadow that we met at the end of the last dungeon, where he was kind of like, I'm nothing, I'm worthless, I don't exist. And it does suit his character ridiculously well. And so it does make a hell of a lot of sense that he would be want to take the blame so he can get the fame and infamy. So what you have to do next is you have to go get some information about Naoto. You need to understand Naoto a bit better. So you talk to someone on the first floor of the normal building of school. Then you talk to this girl on the first floor of the practice building, and she tells you about a policeman. You have to wait until the next day. I believe you can only go find the policeman on Fridays, Mondays and Tuesdays, if I remember correctly. So we got. Hang on, we got a question. 20 minutes. It's 40 minutes. Weirdly. Yes, just one. It was the Anglo-Zanzibar War. What am I talking about? I was talking about something. My brain's gone. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So you can only go see those guys. You can only see the police officer on Fridays, Mondays, and Tuesdays, and it is really up to you. And I could have seen him on the Friday, but here's the thing: I was reading the guide to get that part down pat, and I basically just heard, Mondays and Tuesdays. I just saw Mondays and Tuesdays, and I was like, okay. So I, skipped to the next day, and then I realised, I could have talked to him then as well. I was like, ugh, fucking hell. Oh well. So we're currently doing Daisuke, and we're doing Daisuke's social link now. And Ku is basically having a go at Daisuke for not putting 100% effort into soccer practice. And apparently he's been done for it. Fine, fuck this. And it might be something to do with this. Maybe.
No.
Nah, I need the practice anyway. So yeah, Ku is kind of worried about him at this point because he's just not putting in the effort, because Daisuke is not putting in the effort into practice that Ku believes that he should do.
Thanks.
So yeah, this is kind of, it's getting a bit closer to the end of this now, to try and find out what Daisuke's kind of deal is. Rank 6. So this one took me quite a while to get through this one. Just because, I don't really know why. Yeah, we're going straight to Monday. So now we're going to talk to... Yeah, it's the day off. So now we're going to talk to police officer. So what you do is talk to him and he tells you to fuck off. You then go to the Samigawa flood plain, and you talk to Chie, who tells you maybe you should ask about Naoto because he's gone missing. And so you talk to him again, and basically you change your tact and ask him in a different way. And the police officer tells you that you... So yeah, you talk to that police officer, and he basically tells you that Naoto was obsessed with the case. And so what you have to do now is wait till Tuesday. I believe it's Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I think. Yeah. It's a nonagenarian, I believe. Yeah, okay. Whatever. I got it wrong at start because I just thought Sun nonagenarian didn't sound right. Beyond, not the point. Anyway. So now what you have to do is, for the final part of this bit, it's the longest one actually. You talk to the policeman here, who's here on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and he will tell you. And he will tell you a little bit more about that. Basically, he tells you that everyone in the police department treated him like he was a little kid, and didn't really treat him with the respect that he probably deserved. He has an obsession with the case. They consider him a child. So he had an obsession with the investigation, and the police just treated him like a little kid. So now we have to go back to Rise, sorry, and tell her these things, and then we can basically move on to the and we can actually go through to the dungeon. So yeah, you talk to Rise,
Did you find out more about Naoto?
and you tell her, you give her the information, and then she finds him.
So he's being stubborn about the case. But it seems like it's
So yeah, we
Naoto
just
Kun to get so worked up over something.
come on,
Okay.
let's keep going.
Good feel for it. I think I can do
I
this.
think I can do this. Let's find out where
It'll
it
take
is.
long for me to find him with my persona, so be ready to follow me once I do.
And I think did we get a cutscene? Yeah, we go straight into the cutscene where Rise's, and we found him. Welcome to the hidden. I think it's the secret laboratory, is the name of this dungeon.
Hey, does it remind you
It's
of
a
the secret hideouts
pretty
in
cool
live
looking
action
dungeon.
shows?
I think in terms of the outside, I think it looks cool,
I used to
and I
watch
think that
Weatherman all the
also
time when I was a kid.
I don't.
I hear that those are
I would say that I
shoots.
don't
A lot of
really
the actors do
like
their own stunts, like
the
fire themselves.
I don't really. The dungeon as a whole is fine. It just has some backtracking which I don't really like.
Kung Fu movies.
Um,
The phrase secret hideout has the
but yeah, bit of flavor text here. But that's it then for this part. We're near the end of the part, so join me next time when we'll be going through the fifth dungeon of the game, the secret lab, and we will be going off to find Naoto.
But hey, so this secret
So,
hideout thing
I'll see you in the next part of Persona 4 Golden.
I guess our proper boy detective
See you
isn't
next
as grown
time.
up as he looks. All right, let's get going.